Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Gemini moon signs, or if you have significant Gemini placements in your chart and are needing a feminine energy to work with or balance within yourself, then this reading is for you. So Gemini, before I pulled your cards, I was getting the song Married Young by Jake Scott. And I was also seeing just earlier like a couple getting engaged, so I don't know if that's like there's a significant relationship for you coming in. So it doesn't have to be married, it just kind of feels like whatever this thing is for you, whether it's a relationship or just like some sort of new opportunity, I feel like the energy of it being like a married young kind of thing where like it just moves fast, very like it's very quick, or it's kind of like the scenario that I was seeing was like even after like a couple of dates, like this couple got engaged like almost immediately, like it's that kind of energy. Anyway, so just take that if it resonates for you. The overall context here, you have the Guardian of the Gate and the Six of Voices. So both of these cards are talking about moving into some sort of new experience. I feel like with the Six of Voices as well, it's kind of like it's almost like you're being moved or carried over any sort of like potential obstacles is kind of how I see this card, where it's like you're moving very quickly over potential obstacles that may present, but it's especially with here the Hunter as well, a lot of focus. I feel like this might be another person's energy because I'm not seeing this as yours actually. It's kind of like, I feel like for you, well maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure, this may be your energy. I'll come back to that. The Hunter. That's a Sagittarius energy to me, so that might not be yours. Anyways, so the first couple of cards here. So we have the Ring, which is why I'm saying that this might be a relationship, but if it's not for you, then, you know, take it how it resonates. It might be some sort of new commitment of some sort, right? With this Ring card. It also talks about cycles. Like I feel like you're starting some sort of new cycle, perhaps unexpectedly or just like much quicker than you thought it would be, is kind of how it's feeling. Or like what the expected quote unquote timeline might have been. It's like you're stepping into it much more quickly than expected is what that's looking to me like. And you have this the Oh That Gnome card coming out. This card talks about like the phrase that was sticking out to me was creative chaos, where this card kind of talks about like there's a chaotic energy around, but that energy, that quote unquote chaos, is there to help you discover new gifts about you. And it was specifically talking about like wild gifts, like things that you did not expect of yourself, maybe even. Like it's like talking about like being put in sort of like an uncomfortable situation, right, with the chaos energy, but that it actually like brings out a different aspect or side of you is kind of what's coming through here. And it's like through whatever this Ring energy is. And the cards that are coming out to support this are the 10 of Inspiration and the 7 of Materials. So I'm seeing this as you, Gemini, where it's almost like you have like just like you're just focused on your work is kind of how I'm seeing it. Like I feel like other people would see what you're doing as being almost like a burden is kind of how it's feeling, or like you're carrying a lot, you're doing a lot, you're being very productive is kind of how it's coming through. And with the 7 of Materials, but like this is how other people are seeing you, is how it looks to me, right? Like if other people were to see you here, it's almost like you stand out among others is kind of how it's coming through. But for you, this is sort of like almost like you have like a blinders on or like a tunnel vision kind of energy. Like when you're focused on work or whatever. This could also be... No, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like whatever this new commitment is or whatever, it perhaps comes in when you're sort of in this focused state. So it's kind of like it's even more disruptive is kind of how it's feeling. Like it's like because you're so focused on your work or what you're doing, when this like new, I'm just going to call it a commitment, but it could be a person, right? Like there's a person or relationship or whatever comes in. It was coming through as being sort of like the queen of emotions, but it came out sideways, where it's almost like it activates your emotions, right? It's kind of like you're focused on work, which perhaps is not like an emotional thing, but it's kind of like all of a sudden while you're doing this, it disrupts your focus, and all of a sudden you have like emotions to deal with is kind of how it's going through. And it's like this one's like winking at you, like it's anyways. What's coming out next though, you have the river, which came out in reverse specifically, which is so interesting because it's the horse, the hunter, which I feel like is saying that this is not, I feel like this is your energy here with the river, and this is the hunter energy. This is the unexpected occurrence or whatever it is. It's like the thing that's unexpected, and it's almost like because you're so focused on what you're doing, because the river talks about flow, right? And especially with this as well. It's almost like you don't even notice this energy, whatever it is. It's perhaps been present, but it's almost like you haven't been noticing it. So it's like making itself more known to you. It's like this you cannot ignore is what this is coming through as. Like this is something that you can't ignore here. Where it's like there's something here where like you might be seeing hints of it, but not looking at this thing head on is kind of how it's feeling. You're not looking at the actual thing, you're looking at the reflection of it. You're just looking at the reflections of what the actual thing is. Perhaps because, Gemini, it's like you're focused on your work. You don't want to be distracted, maybe. Or like there's like, I don't know. Because the Queen of Emotions is coming out sideways, right? It's like there's just a lot there. The Queen of Emotions is coming out sideways. There's something here about a short attention span as well. Anyways, okay. So the river in reverse, because this talks about flow, but it also talks about like when you this is sort of like the things moving fast energy. It's kind of like maybe you haven't been looking at this, because you know that as soon as you step into whatever this experience is, it's going to move very quickly. And perhaps that might be a little bit challenging with the Queen of Emotions sideways. It might be challenging to deal with that kind of emotional energy. Anyways, the next cards to describe the river in reverse was the Singer of the Chalice and the Three of Cups. So the Singer of the Chalice talks to me about so much positive emotion, right? It was coming through with the energy of just like all of the positive emotions that you could feel in one feeling. So it is kind of like an Ace of Cups energy, and you have the Three of Cups, which is a sort of a celebration, right? It's like this like happy energy that's sort of coming up out of the water, right? Out of your emotional state. But the Three of Cups, this one from this deck specifically, looks to me like the Three Fates, like the Mother, Maiden, Crone energy, where it's like it comes through as kind of like so perhaps you're shifting from like like the mother mating crone energy out of like into the other one, right? Because the next card out, you have the crone. I feel like this is where you are now, that you're in this crone energy, which just means like you're at the end of some sort of significant cycle is kind of how it's coming through. And so this would be restarting that cycle. And this card comes out when a very significant moment in your life comes in, or like a significant crossroads is how I see this card. And so like the three fates come in almost as like a guidance, like to give you guidance on the next part of this journey. That's sort of how I'm seeing this, where like whatever this thing, unexpected event is like a very significant shift for you, for sure. And it's almost like you're getting glimpses of it, right? With the river, you're getting glimpses of what this is, because I feel like perhaps you will be moving into the hunter energy, but I feel like you're not there yet. It's almost like you're just getting the glimpses of it. It's almost like this one had to like drop it in front of you in order for you to notice it at all. It's kind of like it had to be almost like I don't know what I'm doing, like a really sudden sort of like almost like takes your breath away is kind of how it's coming through. Anyways, okay, so you have here the crone coming out with the Singer of Courage, which is just coming through with this energy of like, don't be afraid of this change. I feel like it's like with the river, it's like there may be sort of like it's gonna feel all consuming is kind of how it's coming through, but the crone comes in with this energy of like one that has almost like seen it all at this point. It's kind of maybe that's you, Gemini, or it's just kind of like the guidance from the crone is perhaps it's that the guidance from the crone, because she's the wise one, right? It talks about like just let go of like control over the situation, because it's like you can't block the river, right? The river doesn't, you can't block it. It'll flow around if necessary is kind of how it's coming through. It'll flow around, so it's kind of like just let go and let the energy flow how it wants to. I feel like here with the Singer of Courage as well, whenever this card comes out, it tells me that there is fear present about the situation, because the Singer of Courage says that courage is not the absence of fear, but it's moving forward despite the fear. So I feel like that's sort of the guidance. It's like fear is a completely normal and human response to anything new and any sort of transformation here at the crone. But it is a natural part of the process. And I feel like here with the Six of Voices, it's like there may be fears, but you don't have anything to worry about, because any potential obstacle, it's almost like you're going to just move over it very smoothly is how that's looking to me. And the next cards that you have out here, you have the Six of Inspiration and the Muse of Emotion. So it's kind of like, so if this is a partnership, it's like so much love and happiness, and creation is also very much specified here, where it's like it's a very creative sort of dynamic or relationship, where it's like there, but through your emotions, right, like how you feel, it's a really positive energy. And I feel like because you feel all of this sort of like love, trust, happiness, joy, all of that, all of the good feelings in one, where it actually makes like manifestation easier as well. Like it's kind of like that that energy where it's a cycle that just gives back to itself, right? Like a self-generative cycle or self-generative energy that just like comes back in on itself, right? It's kind of like, it's, what's the word that it's like, not quite recycling. It's not quite recycling, but it's like, it builds. The momentum builds on itself when you're in this energy. So the next cards you have here, the Three of Inspiration and the Muse of Materials as well. So you have the King and the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles together, and also the Three of Wands. So again, this is talking about manifestation. This one talks to me about, again, things moving quickly, but it's also like perhaps like a chain reaction of things. Like I'm seeing this as like, this is the flow energy where it's kind of like one thing just carries into every other part of your life is how that's looking to me. And it's kind of like, I feel like with this, whatever it is that you're stepping into, you have here the Box coming out next, which is really interesting. And the Singer of Intuition. So this card talks about like receiving information little by little about the Akashic records, like what it is that's on your path, what it is that you're moving towards. And it's interesting because it's coming out with the Box. So this I sometimes see as being like layers of things to discover. It was also coming through as like structure. And also, what was the other thing? There's something here about, because I feel this Box, when it came out, it was kind of like on its side, where I feel like you're entering into some sort of commitment, whatever this is, where it's like there are a lot of societal expectations is kind of how it's coming through, where there's like, again, with the whole married young thing, like if it's not that, it's kind of just like there are societal expectations on what's an appropriate timeline, let's say, for getting married or for whatever. These like milestones that people get to, and there are expectations around that, right? And I feel like whatever it is that you're stepping into almost feels like you're going into something that has a lot of expectations, but dismantling them is what it's looking to me like, especially with this, right? It's kind of like whatever this thing is, it almost like flicks all the dominoes, right? It kind of like so this is kind of looking like a line of dominoes now, which is interesting. Whatever it is that you're going into, this new situation, let's just call it generally like that, whatever it is for you, it almost like dismantles all of the pre-established societal expectations or structural whatever timelines, or however you want to phrase that, right? It kind of gets rid of all of that rigidity, perhaps, because the next card to come out here, you have the Creator, which I'm seeing as being almost like all of this like rigid structure almost gets like dismantled, right? It's kind of looking to me like a fireworks in some way. But also like super creative, right? So much creative energy. This card was talking about like I love how this circle is imperfect in the center, right? That would infuriate me if I were drawing a circle and it was like imperfect, but I feel like that's the point, right? It's like you're introducing some sort of quote unquote imperfection or like an outlier kind of energy where it's like you can't fit this relationship or this whatever this is inside the box. This relationship does not fit inside the box, but it's kind of like you're entering into some sort of societal expectation and then dismantling it immediately. That's what that looks like to me. Which is a really positive energy, Gemini, because it's kind of like you're changing some sort of structure from the inside and also releasing all of this creational energy as well. I feel like there might be kind of like, that might be part of the fear as well, because again, there's this kind of energy, like, it's feeling to me like a fear of how fast or how much or the volume of energy that will be sort of like flowing through you is kind of how it's coming through, because you have these cards coming out next. So first of all, you have the Sun card, which is so beautiful. This one specifically talks to me about like meditation and finding strength from within. That's what this card talks about. So that might be specifically guidance for you. But you also have these these cards where the next card out is the Three of Swords, which is so interesting to come out like side by side like this, because these are almost opposite energies to me, right? But the figure here is the same. It's kind of like, this might be because it's also Gemini, which talks about duality as well, right? So whatever this experience is for you, it may sort of cause these two reactions within yourself, where it's like this Three of Swords is not heartbreak to me. This one talks about fear. It talks about fear of the unknown, or like what's behind the door, right? It kind of looks to me like that might be the fear of whatever is on the other side of this transition point. And it's talking about here with the High Priestess is like you have all the wisdom. It's kind of like if you're ever feeling in this energy, the Three of Swords, take a moment to pause and connect with your intuition, because I feel like this is your natural state, is how this is feeling. Like you're the Sun energy. So it's kind of like if you do feel like this, which is completely normal, again, that's not anything that anyone should feel like ashamed about or whatever. It's just kind of like, just take a minute to pause and connect with your intuition. Because it is a moon energy, right? That does talk about like fear and unknown and mysteries and shadows, but you can always connect with this. Okay. And it's kind of, what else came out with the Three of Swords was the Death card, which is emphasizing that sort of crone energy where it's like significant transformation, right? I feel like part of the fear might be like you can't go back to where you were once this happens. Like it's a permanent change, or it's like one that will significantly change your life. So it's kind of like whatever came before is going to not be left behind, but it will be affected by this change. Everything that comes before this will be it's almost going to be like a before and after kind of split, right? That's what this Three of Wands is looking like a before and after. Like this was the before, and the after is going to look significantly different. And also reminder here, because you have Tate in the Sylph, which to me is a Gemini card. It talks about mental acuity and discernment were the words that were coming through, because especially because it's like with the Creator energy, it kind of feels like if you've ever been in sort of like one of those like creational flow states where it's just like you're creating a lot of things and it's almost like time ceases to exist. If you're ever like doing something that you're very engrossed in, right? It's kind of like time just disappears, and that can feel very ungrounded, especially if you like come out of it and you look up and it's dark out. It's kind of like, where did all the time go? It might be something like that as well. And that could be overwhelming. And so this card does talk about sort of like using your discernment, of paying attention, having a lot of sort of mental acuity and flexibility in all of the energies that you're receiving. It feels like you're going to be receiving a lot of inspiration in whatever form, because you have this card coming out next, the Page of Inspiration, which talks to me about creational flow energy. It's like you connect to some sort of inspiration and it just flows through you and you create things, and you have, it is, I was reading this like comment on like a YouTube video that I was listening to, and it was talking about like how our brains have such a natural ability to create flow energy, and then it becomes almost like this like the most satisfying experience that we can experience here with the Singer of Chalice. When you're like in the creational flow of something, it is almost like an addiction, but it's not an addiction, because you don't have any of sort of like the dependency things here. It's kind of just it's talking to me about like, it's so engrossing, like it's so like you just want to do more of it, is kind of how it's coming through here. You just want to do more. So I feel like that might be part of the, maybe that's part of the fear, right? I don't know. Especially if you have like an addictive personality, that can be kind of scary, where it's like something that is so all-encompassing. You don't want that to become something that you become dependent on. I feel like that's not even a fear here for you, or that's not even an issue, I should say. It's a completely different set of chemicals. Anyways, the last two cards that I'm going to end with, you have here the Five of Inspiration and the Wheel, which I love so much because I feel like this transition, this is looking to me like the before and after, where this is the before, where it's kind of like, this card talks to me about having like a lot of like disjointed energies within yourself, or having a lot of conflicting ideas, or kind of like confusion, or like a lot of like split energies, where it's like just split energies within yourself, right? Like being confused or being conflicted about something. I feel like this is the before. Whatever this change is though, it's kind of like it, through your gifts, I want to say, it's really emphasizing that it, like whatever this change is going to amplify or awaken a specific gift that you did not know that you had. And it almost like creates order, right? With the wheel here, it like takes all of this disjointed energy, where perhaps like there was something missing here within all of the things that you're already good at, is kind of how it's coming through. Like all the things that you're already good at, but perhaps they're like disjointed or kind of random maybe. But it's kind of like once this new thing comes in, it becomes ordered. It's like the wheel makes sense. Everything connects on the wheel. And the wheel is kind of, the wheel is this ring. Whatever this ring is, this new commitment, it creates order out of all the disjointed aspects of your life, is kind of how it's coming through. Gemini, these are like some of my favorite types of readings to do. Anyways, so I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great night. Bye.